Recently, women in Saudi Arabia earned the right to vote for the first time. Now, if they could just get the right to go outside. This past week, women in Saudi Arabia were allowed to participate in elections, both as voters and as candidates. The result was 17 women were elected into public office, although the seats they won have no lawmaking or national power. In America, we call those people senators. This is definitely a step forward for the Saudis, since in addition to no driving, major decisions in women's lives there are made by their male relatives, and even women who ran for office had to campaign from behind a partition or with a male representative by their side. It's easy to criticize Saudi Arabia for being behind the times, but 100 years ago, most women couldn't vote anywhere, or as white guys call it, the good old days. Globally, New Zealand was the first to grant women the full right to vote in 1893, 14 years before they even became a country. Some U.S. states had women's voting rights in place, but they began to be revoked after the Declaration of Independence. It sounds bad, but they had already written all men are created equal, and do you know how hard it is to edit parchment? It wasn't until 1869 that Wyoming became the first state to offer full women's suffrage as the equal rights movement was gaining steam. When the 19th Amendment was passed in 1920, it was the result of over 70 years of fighting. Why were men so afraid of women voting? The reasons were pretty creative, ranging from women's physical stature making them unfit to compete with men, to the notion that women focusing on politics rather than having children would lead to no children being born and humanity dying off, to equality of the sexes leading to the end of chivalry. You see, ladies, dudes have been whining, "But I'm a nice guy," for decades. Even in Saudi Arabia today, these fears persist. The Grand Mufti, their top religious figure, said women being granted voting rights is opening the door to evil, whereas the women of Saudi Arabia say that the Grand Mufti is opening the door to a swift kick to the nuts. But the real impact of equal rights is more positive than the Grand Mufti would lead you to believe. A study at Northwestern University found a direct connection between overall women's rights and national economic development. They argue that the extension of women's rights is both the cause of development and also facilitates development, possibly because it forces men to do something other than our preferred activities of making elaborate snacks and talking about ourselves. But how will this play out in conservative Saudi Arabia? The answer is slowly. Approximately 130,000 women registered to vote in this election versus 1.35 million men, but that number will only grow. In the US, it took 60 years before an equal number of men and women voted in 1980, and women have outpaced men ever since. So although social change won't happen overnight, a nice first step would be letting women drive to the next election. Hey, thanks for watching The Daily Desk. If you like what you saw, click to subscribe, comment below, share the link with a friend or an enemy. I don't care.